I am Sarajane Case, and this is Enneagram and Coffee. Hey there, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the podcast. I missed you all last week, but I'm excited to jump back in this week with our regular Monday to Friday schedule. Today, we are talking about a topic that is pretty touchy. It's environmental kindness. I have a feeling I'm going to mess this one up in some way and someone is going to come for me, but we're used to it by now. So today is Rosebud and Thorn. The rose is we are experiencing warm weather this week. I'm recording this in our time off. So where I am right now, it's like 70 degrees and I'm looking out the window and I can see my husband and my little sitting in the yard and just enjoying the sunshine. And that makes me so happy. My bud is related because I had some patio furniture, like a small little patio set that I brought to the office, and I didn't really get to use it much because when I'm at the office, I'm working and I don't really need to sit outside. So I decided to bring it home so I could use it at home and journal on it or read or whatever I wanted to do. So I'm excited to have that here, and I look forward to using it this afternoon when I'm off of work. And my thorn is that I'm recording this while we're waiting on results for my 9-year-old's COVID test. And it's so hard. There's just so much out of our control because we co-parent, and this is like the very thing we've worked so hard to avoid. Like, our household is completely quarantined. I'm high risk, as I've said a million times. And so we're just like very, very cautious, and we can't control what happens at our kiddo's other house, and they're less quarantined than we are, and he has a fever for 3 days, and it's just really scary. But that's all right. I think he's okay. He seems to be feeling better today, so I'm hopeful. But that's my thorn. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. So today I wanted to talk through the importance of working both as individuals and as a collective to improve the state of our environment. We're really focusing on kindness this month. You'll start to notice that theme. We had just general conversation around kindness in the Enneagram the first week of March. This week we're talking environmental kindness. Next week we're talking about kindness towards self. So that's kind of the mode we're in. So while we're thinking about kindness, I do want to make sure we're not ignoring kindness to the environment. According to worldwildlife.org, the following things are at risk if we continue as we are going environmentally. Sea levels rising to the degree where it can impact over 100 billion people by 2050. That's not even 30 years from now. Like, I will be in my 60s. A few ways this can impact us is that these changes in sea level affect people through flooding, when water in rivers cannot flow into the ocean because the sea is too high, and when seawater surges onto the land during storms. If the seawater finds its way to farms and reservoirs, it can harm our drinking water and our ability to grow crops. Like, before I'm even retired, this is what we're looking at if things don't change. The second thing is coral bleaching. So some estimates say that over 1 billion people depend on food from coral reefs, and reefs as a whole might be worth around $172 billion for every year they continue to provide essential services to humans, like food. Then we are at risk of an ice-free Arctic. Right, if you're an animal lover, all of these things impact the life of countless sea creatures. But even if you're not, the melting of this Arctic sea ice will most likely lead to further climate change. And this is a problem because climate change affects almost everything important to humans, like plants, animals, and weather, and commerce. All these things in turn affect our food supplies, our ability to live. The fourth thing is a cycle of extreme heat waves every 5 years. Now, heat waves have discernible impacts on society, including a rise in mortality, an increased strain on infrastructure, power, water, and transport, and a possible rise in social disturbance. Wider impacts may include effects on the retail industry, ecosystem services, and even tourism. Finally, on this list is flood risks. Global warming increases the risk of more frequent and heavier rainfall, snowfall, and other precipitation. And as that risk increases, so too does the risk of flooding. That paired with the sea levels rising, and that chance goes even further up. And I don't know about you, but I have lived in flood zones multiple times in my life, and it is devastating, absolutely devastating. So just the idea of that going up is overwhelming. Now, I know that there are many of you out here, some of which may be listening to this episode, who don't believe climate change is real. And I'm honestly not interested in having a debate with you about it, but I did do some preliminary research for you. So if you'd like, there's a link in my bio or in the show notes that will have this debate with you. Any of your talking points it has already considered and will give you the same response that I would give you in the DMs anyway. So I did go ahead and put that in the show notes for you to go check out. But my question to you is, why not? Right? I know you're a kind person. I know you want what's best for the people you love, for your country, for yourself. I believe also the world at large. You wouldn't go into an ocean and take a fish out and watch it die with a smile on your face. So if there is a chance, right, just like a teeny tiny chance that climate change might possibly could be real, which I'm of the belief that it is proven by science 100%, but if you don't believe and you do think maybe there's a sliver of a chance and making teeny tiny shifts in your lifestyle or the things you vote for could do less harm, I do believe that you're probably the kind of person who would do as little harm as possible. And here's the thing, there is some stuff that we can control. How much we drive, how much we throw away, how much energy we use. These are within our control. However, there are so many people on the planet and we can't control everyone. It can feel like our small contribution doesn't matter, and that's why we have to look into individual and collective change. So we need to not only work toward the impact we can make, which is large, by the way. So an example of this is the average person throws away an average of 185 pounds of plastic a year. That doesn't include how our efforts of just showing up, doing more in our own life will impact the efforts of those around us. That it naturally increases the change that we can make. However, we do need our government to put these limits on larger corporations who in a lot of ways can make a larger impact much faster. It's one thing for individuals to try to turn off their lights when they leave a room, and it's an entirely different thing for power plants to seek alternatives for how they fuel the world. So also in the show notes, I've linked a way for you to quickly reach out to your governor asking to put a stop to new oil drilling. So from wilderness.org, the health risks from oil and gas extraction are not limited to air pollution. The drilling method of fracking is known for contaminating drinking water sources with chemicals that lead to cancer, birth defects, and liver damage. The controversial method injects a mixture of water and chemicals into rock formations to release oil and gas. As a result, it generates huge volumes of wastewater with dangerous chemicals that can leak into ponds, lagoons, and underwater aquifers. So I will link to the full article below. It has many, many more reasons why this is harmful. But definitely, if you want to take action today and want to be part of the collective change, you can go in, email your governor. It's so easy. It took me 15 minutes and make an impact today. Now, tomorrow, I will go into detail how I have made small shifts in lowering my environmental impact over the years. And it's not as crazy as you may think. You may be surprised. But as always, it is such a joy to create this content for you. I am so happy to be back, and I will see you tomorrow for the next episode.